applicators, the intended use is a generation of specific low-intensity pulsed magnetic fields, and they are used to engage overall physiological processes. And I emphasize overall because it's not targeted and it's not focused to any specific area, because we aren't treating any type of disease or illness, so we are non-focused, and we are looking to engage overall physiological processes, and this is a perfect leeway into acupuncture points and meridians as well. The mechanism of action that all of this happens with is induction and resonance. And you've probably heard me say it before. It doesn't matter what is going on with PEMF. If you are not creating induction and resonance within the body, you will get no results, because all the magic, all the results of PEMF happen from creating induction and resonance within the body. Your body is basically a conductor. It is conducting energy. And this is a perfect example of why we stress hydration, why you need to drink water. The resistance happens when a conductor transfers the energy or moves an electrical current. The greater the conductor, the lower the resistance. And you've all heard me say before, we're using physics to mitigate chemistry, to activate biology. And through this statement, the key is right there. You are trying to create the body into the best conductor with the lowest resistance. And that is how you're going to get the most efficient optimization results from your home PEMF sessions. The greater the conductor, the lower the resistance. So you want to create your body into the best conductor, and that is done through, which we've all are well aware of, nutrition, hydration, and exercise. The human body with low resistance is associated with large amounts of lean body mass. High resistance is associated with smaller or low amounts of lean body mass. So if your goal is to develop your body into the best conductor, you need to start developing more levels of lean body mass. The body's fluids consist of water and charged ions, and they readily conduct electrical currents. Charged ions is where nutrition comes into play. So if you're really looking to optimize any of the local applicators in relation to acupuncture points or meridians, which is all involving the flow of electrical conductivity, electrical currents, you need to make sure your body is in the best shape as a conductor that it can possibly be in. The extracellular water and ionized sodium, and then the intercellular water, which is ionized potassium, provide a conductive pathway. And when a person has a lot of lean body mass, they have a lot of body water, meaning great conductivity of the current and less overall resistance of the flow of the current. And the reactance actually gauges your cell's ability to store energy. And this is really what we are doing. We are utilizing physics in order to help facilitate the process of your body being a conductor and utilizing it to flow an efficient electrical current throughout the body. And every single cell in your body needs this to happen. If your body has a high reactance, your cells can store energy easily. And if it has a low reactance, it stores energy poorly. This is also a reason why, if you do a study, some people are going to get great results from PEMF, and some people are going to be a little bit more challenged. And this could also be one of the reasons why. How is their body functioning as a conductor? Because if it is a poor conductor, they will get poor results from PEMF. So there are many things we can do within an equation to optimize our PEMF success, because PEMF is an integrative, complementary therapy. It is not a go it alone. So you need to combine nutrition. You need to combine physical movement, even if that's walking and stretching. Walking and stretching will change your life. And these are a simple way to improve the body's ability to be a conductor, walking and stretching. Your fascia is the electrical highway of the body, and it tightens. And the best way to loosen it up, make the flow more optimal, is stretching, walking, and of course, hydration and making sure you have the proper ions within the body. So remember, cells that are healthy are those that with intact cell membranes, and they hold electrical charge longer. So that is exactly the optimal goal of what we are doing. We are looking to create healthy cells with intact cell membranes and that hold electrical energy charge longer. As you can see, the acupuncture points of the body, and according to traditional Chinese medicine, there are more than 2,000 acupuncture points within the body. And this is why utilizing a local applicator is optimal, because you do not need to know a specific point as if you were using an acupuncture needle. You can hit a targeted area due to the functioning of the magnetic field and how it comes out like a flashlight. So it will increase its radius. So you can stimulate, interact with a larger segment without knowing the specific areas that you're looking for. So if you're working with a health practitioner and they tell you specific acupuncture points that can be beneficial, you can target them without having an exact location by utilizing a local applicator in PMF. And I'll show you some examples of this as it goes. These pathways create an energy flow through the body that is responsible for overall health. So what this is saying is that if your body is not a conductor, these pathways are not moving energy as efficiently as they should be, and this can affect your overall health. Disruptions of the flow of energy cause disease. And we've heard Dr. Tong talk about this. He relates it to blockages on the highway, the 401. And it's very important of why we are treating overall health, because again, we are looking to increase all overall physiological processes. We are looking to help the flow of energy throughout the whole entire body, because any disruption in the flow of energy is the beginning point where disease and illness can set into the body. So keeping the energy flowing is an utmost important. Clearing those blockages, as Dr. Tong says. The meridians are the antenna of the body. How do we improve our heart rate variability? How do we improve the way when we're walking on the beach or in the woods that we are resonating with natural frequencies that are found in nature? We need to optimize the antennas of our body, which are the meridians. And that is the same way you would do this as we have discussed before. You need to make sure you have proper nutrition, exercise, and that the flow of energy is traveling efficiently through your body. And all of that can be achieved with a local applicator if you do not at the time have access to a whole body mat. You would just move it up and down different areas. But as you can see on the diagram on the right, when you get that system functioning optimally, those antennas are going, your autonomic nervous system is working, you're able to pick up the subtle vibrations within the environment you're in. The energy within your body begins from within and goes out. So you have to make sure you are optimally conducting energy in order to have it come from within and go outwards. And also to traditional Chinese medicine, The flow of energy, referred to as chi, is what moves the circulatory system. It moves the blood. And the blood is also, you could think of another form of energy. If there's any blockages, we all know what happens when there are circulatory blockages. So when we're moving the energy through the acupuncture points, through the meridians, in tandem, we are also moving the blood. Qi drives the blood. And we've talked about this several times. It's how we are improving cell membranes going from raisins to grapes. It is all done through energy, through making the body an efficient conductor and creating those eddy currents with the local applicators. The energy flow is what drives our blood. So you need to make sure that is all functioning optimally. The flow of blood is all dictated by the heart, the electromagnetic generator of the body. And you can interact with this process by deep breathing. When we breathe, we are engaging our heart rhythm. And so when we're utilizing a local applicator, just as we would a whole body mat, we need to make sure we're hydrated. We need to make sure we're breathing, because we need to get the oxygen into the body in order for the cells to carry it into the tissue beds. It's all about movement, and it all begins on an energetic level. Like Dr. Tong says, when the flow of traffic, whether you're in Los Angeles or Miami or New York or even DC, when the flow of traffic is going, everything is moving. People are getting to where they need to be. Supplies are getting to where they need to be. Food is getting to where it needs to be. Wastes are getting removed from where we do not want them to be. But when this process breaks down, traffic jam, as Dr. Tong says, blockages. And what happens when we have a blockage in our body? Blood slows down, the energy slows down, and then you add time to this equation and you're waiting for a disaster to happen within inside of the body. When you have a traffic jam and it's for 1 or 2 hours before what is disrupting it is removed, things will just be a little delayed, but they'll eventually get there. Now you add time, and if that traffic jam happened for a month, we would have total disruption. There would be no food, there would be no gas, there would be no energy. We can even think of how we all experienced what happened to the supply chain with the pandemic. When the world came to a halt, all our supplies came to a halt. We realized that we didn't even have the basic necessities to fight a pandemic. This is the same thing that happens within your body. Everything slowed down, blockages were created, and it took months and months and months, and the supply chain is still disrupted.
You're not from here?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The best way to do all of these different processes
Southern California
is to be able to utilize the applicators into your daily life cycle. These were created for a rep who asked to help creating some Instagram marketing. But as you can see on my normal day, I use that OmniPad probably 3 hours a day. The reason why I chose the OmniPad is because it is great to be able to move around. You can take it to work. You can read a book in bed. You can watch a movie. You can use it on the sofa. You can take it in the car. So you have to think, okay, if I'm going to be sitting and working at the computer, how can I keep the blockages? How can I keep the energy flowing? And the greatest way is to integrate a local applicator into your daily life where you're already doing something. We all sit at the computer for hours a day. We need to start integrating our local applicators into that process. Here are some other ways that when I'm utilizing it, I have it on a stool when I'm doing the work. I will then sit on it and you can see my legs go down. So I'm treating the back of the calves as well as I'm sitting on it as well. So it's treating all the different areas that any man over 40 years old needs to make sure there are no blockages, because those blockages are what are the first cause, the first delay where potential disease and illness can set in. And you can take a look at any of the modern different type of diseases and diagnoses. They all begin with a reduction of energy flow, a reduction of circulation into the area. On the right, you could see how if you had a chair on the back, or you can use the strap, you can then treat the lower back as well as sit on it. So you can treat the whole different area just by moving the applicator around. So I treat the feet. So I'll stand on it for 12 minutes. I put it onto the stool. I'll sit on it. So I can treat the back of the legs, the feet. If you could see how many different acupuncture points and the meridians that are beginning on the feet. So by stimulating the feet, you're really sending the energy through the entire body. Animals also get blockages and need to, in order to keep that flow. Farley's got a busy life here in Fort Lauderdale. He goes swimming in the summer to summer camp, and he's running around. Now, my big concern is he's probably around 6 or 7, so we need to make sure he doesn't get any blockages. His body is optimized, functioning, and his energy, because he is also a conductor. And this is how I've integrated the Omnipad into helping him as well, too. So I just set it right there in his bed, and I turn it on, and then he goes over and he lays in it. And that's where he takes his afternoon nap after his summer camp and his swimming. And that is the same way we need to look at these local applicators. They are to integrate complementary into our lives, and we should think about using them just as we would anytime we are sitting down, anytime we are laying down, anytime we're watching TV, anytime you're going to be in a stationary position for more than 15 minutes, you can get a treatment in. You can get a therapeutic, energetic pulse that helps the body ensure it keeps that flow of energy going and helps alleviate those blockages. Blockages in the meridians can actually not necessarily always be from physical manifestations. There's several reasons why. They believe that also the psyche can create energetic blockages within the body that need to be removed. And that's not always an easy process. Sometimes you need to stimulate the body's energy flow in order to release those energetic blockages that are more on the psyche level that have been created through whatever in our past. So there's lots of different energy blockages that can really hinder the body's wellness and a body's ability to stay in an optimal state of functioning. The other area I wanted to talk about a little bit is, let's go back to this slide, is how you would talk about if somebody asks you about different diseases and illness, and how you would talk about this within the relation. Because one of the biggest issues within PEMF is getting looking at the research and getting different types of repetitive results. And the reason why there's an issue with that is because we are treating non-targeted areas. We're treating the whole body. So of course, when you treat the whole body with energy, you're going to get movement over here, you're going to get movement over there, you're going to get movement over here. So it is going to be through the entire body holistically, not on a reductionist viewpoint where you're looking at a specific faulty tissue or area or circuit of the body that is not performing, and then you target the therapy for that specific disease or illness. Since we're not dealing with any disease or illness because we are in a non-targeted, non-focused application, we are focused on overall performance of the physiological areas. So things that we can say that it does do is it helps promote relaxation and manages stress. As we've been discussing, it increases the enhanced flow of energy. It improves mental concentration. It helps the body with hand-eye coordination, enhanced learning capacity, improved physical fitness, strength, coordination, and energy flow with the muscles. It improves general mobility. These are all things that begin to, we notice signs of these things where our mobility might not be where it was, where our mental acuity might not be as sharp as it was before. Maybe we're not able to relax like we used to be able to do. These are all things where you are able to stimulate an overall process and see results. And so when somebody talks specifically, how does this work with cancer? Of course, the answer is it does not. It does nothing to do with cancer whatsoever. But what we are doing is we are helping the body maintain a stated general area of wellness. So basically, we are helping the body maintain its general wellness. And the intended use relates to roles of healthy lifestyle that help reduce the risk or impact of a certain chronic disease or condition. And with nutrition and physical movement and PMF, we are helping to improve the quality of that life, help reduce the impact of a certain disease or condition where it is understood that physical movement, nutrition, integrative and complementary medicines can help facilitate a better quality of life. So that is where we come into the equation utilizing PMF with the local applicators. Most diagnoses are based on chemistry or a mechanical malfunction. And we are not dealing with chemistry or mechanical malfunctions. We're focused on resident energy, establishing relaxing, coherent levels of energy that are benefiting and are derived from the reduction of stress. Because as anyone can tell you, if you can help the body facilitate more time in a parasympathetic state versus a sympathetic state, you are providing lots of health benefits to that body. And these are all things that the body needs to be in a general state of wellness, in a state of optimal wellness in order to go through any type of chronic disease or illness management. And we are not treating any of those diagnoses or illnesses directly. What we are treating is the body's general overall wellness, and we are helping to stimulate the overall physiological functioning in the body. And signs that this is all happening are signs that are showing we are optimized in our energy flow. We are more relaxed, we're more present, we have a better flow of energy, our mind is working more efficiently, we have better hand-eye coordination, we have better energetic resource management, our concentration is not always pulled away. We are able to learn at a more enhanced capacity. We are able to have an improved physical fitness level, a strength level, coordination, improved energy, and improved general mobility. And anyone who is playing pickleball in any of these 55 and over communities, improved general mobility, improved hand-eye coordination, improved physical fitness level, strength, and coordination is all required that when you are doing this. The better your body can perform, the better you will do at any of these active lifestyles, no matter if you are a high school individual playing sports, No matter if you are a retiree playing sports, you need all the same levels of energetic flow in order to optimize your experience with these different athletic performance. Specifically with high school sports, and you can even take a look at any of the girls lacrosse specifically, they're not even required to wear helmets. And it doesn't matter if girls, you know, quote unquote, don't throw the ball or hit the ball as hard as guys do, they receive the impact the same way. And this isn't about any disease or a diagnosis of any type of head trauma or concussion. What this is about is whether it's a high school student, whether you're a weekend warrior, whether you are an active retiree, if you are in a high impact sport, you need to make sure your optimal general well-being is at full functioning, because high impact sports can disrupt the flow of that energy level from repeated impacts over time. These impacts on one level individually may not be significant, but if you are playing a specific sport year after year after year, all of these impacts add up. So one way you can keep that body going so you do not have these blockages of energetic flow is to utilize the local applicators. And remember, they're complementary. So you need to integrate them into your current lifestyle. Where are you going to be sitting down? Where are you going to be laying down? Utilizing these local applicators at night are very easy because you can easily remove it. You don't need to get out of bed once you're done utilizing it. And making sure that energy flow while you're sleeping is huge, because you will not heal unless you sleep. So you need to make sure you get your sleep. And one way to promote the best sleep management is to promote relaxation, to promote healthy management of stress, so you can get those deep sleeps and you can heal. And you can make sure that energy flow is going through the meridians and going through the acupuncture points, and that your body is the best conductor for an electrical current, and you can optimize your PMF sessions. And this is how you can really get those wonderful stories that we all hear about PMF successes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up here. I'm going to unmute, and we can, people can now unmute themselves, and then we can take some questions.
Okay, Greg, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for the training, always. And I can see Farley has a good life. You really take good care of him.
He brings lots of love and smiles, so
yes,
he deserves it.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna have Q&A for everybody to ask questions when you have questions. But I'm gonna introduce a few health professionals I've been working with. I'm excited to have them recently. First of all, let's go to Colorado. Joy Hewitt-Kine. Unmute your line at Joy. Yeah. But let me introduce, I recently had the privilege to work with her. She has a wealth of knowledge. I want her to share about the dark field microscopy. She's been working with PMF. And can you hear me? Sorry, Joy.
Is it unmuted
Excellent.
now?
You are.
Yay.
I always love to hear from you. She cares about her patients, above and beyond what she's done for her patients. I am so impressed. I have so much to learn from her. And she's been using the IMRS for a long, long time, over 12 years. It's still working great. It's amazing. And I'm learning from her. I mean, I'm glad we connected. She's now in my team. So Joy, share with us about your experience and your wisdom.
First, I want to say, Greg, that was such a fantastic present. That was so great. I loved that presentation so much. like Terry said, I have one of the originals, like one of the oldest antiques, I think. And I think it's been about 16 years and it's still going strong. And as an acupuncturist, I put everyone on the mat before they get any treatment, just because it enhances and empowers the treatment. People are devoted to the mat, and so am I. It's so, so, so great. And over the years, it just gets used day after day, hour after hour. It's such a fantastic kind of, it's almost like come in, decompress, get energized, and be in the best state to receive the treatment. So I love this.
Share with us about the dark field microscopy, Joy.
Yeah, I actually long ago bought one of the dark field microscopes, did the training, and was doing that before and after every, when we would do presentations for the mat. And I haven't used it for a while. Since I've moved to the new office, I don't have the room to set it up now, but it's so amazing. Every single person, you could see the change before and after. In Colorado, I'm allowed to do to get the blood. And so there's no problems with that. But it was just true. And it was so wonderful for people to see themselves, the change in their blood. When Greg was saying, and I love that example you were saying for something else about changing the whole body from a raisin to a grape. You can see that in the red blood cells so vividly. It goes from these like shriveled to, you literally can see the light in the red blood cells after someone's had a treatment. It's fantastic.
And all that's possible by moving the flow of the electrical current within the body.
And you get almost like the spiritual component with the microscope, because you literally can see more light inside the cells. It's fantastic.
And it really is. I always tell people, having been with PMF for, over 10 years now, it really has transformed into more of a spiritual experience, because your cells generate a magnetic field and your body generates a magnetic field. And when you get all of that within residence, you're actually connecting your cells to your spirit, and you're working, your body is harmonized. And that is really the ultimate goal, is why they always say everything begins from within and goes out. And you start with your cells and you work out to your spirit.
That was that photograph, that picture you showed with after the acupuncture with the streams of energy in that beautiful shape. That feels so accurate to me. Because you're open to the energies of the earth, but it's also like the heaven energy also, that one.
Yes, this is actually from a spiritual text, and it is showing how the flow of energy happens within the body, and how that in order to receive the energy, you first have to prepare the vessel in order to receive the flow of energy. And that's why some people drain energy from a room, because they're not able to generate it from within. Right. They have to suck it from without.
Wow.
That's a
when
good
we really
point.
dive deep into the importance of the meridians and the acupuncture points and getting that flow driving, it really is amazing. And you can really see how it can transform the body by just moving the physics, interacting with the chemistry, and then you're activating the biology.
It's true. It's true.
So wonderful.
And in the old mat that I have, it doesn't have the spot or anything. It had this little pointer thing. And with that, sometimes I used to do the acupuncture points to do a treatment when someone was scared of needles, or it was a child or something like that. But other than that, it's not necessary to treat the whole body. You get more impact with the actual treatment. You don't have to do specific points. I agree.
Especially if you're a lay person, you know, sometimes that creates more stress finding the point than actual the therapy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting to the next. Thank you so much, Joy, to have you. Dr. Patricia Shepard, are you there? I'm not sure whether she's there, and she says she would be here. She's a chiropractor and kinesiologist, and I got to work with her. Actually, she done a lot of research and find the perfect PEMF, and she found this one. She's so excited to have this, and I actually lent her for a week, and now she got her own, and she loves it, and she's really want to share the value of it, but she's not here. But no problem. Let's go to the next person, Jason Major. Jason, unmute yourself. Patient to patient. Okay, he is the wife and PEMF practitioner. He has a clinic in Washington. It is a great privilege to work with you lately, Jason. And your passion and devotion in PEMF is tremendous. By listening to you, you have a lot of modalities, but you said that PEMF is the most important. So I am so impressed. And in fact, you have been sending me orders left and right. I don't know how you do it, but by listening to you, I'm sure people will listen to you. Okay, go ahead, Jason. Tell us about share with us about your wisdom.
Good morning. I have a little bit different approach. I actually got sick, and about 3 years ago, I ran a company that did trade shows around the world and special events. And so I traveled and put on shows, and I ended up losing control of my muscles. I started with a pain in my leg, and it spread to my arm and across to my other arm and down the other side. And I started to lose control, very similar to ALS, very similar to MS. And that's when all the treatment started, or not even treatment, the trying to figure out what was going on. My body produced a wildfire of inflammation, and so I became a lab rat, and I was admitted to the University of Washington twice just for testing, and they never could figure out what was going on. They could see what was happening. I did several deep muscle biopsies. They could see what was happening. They just didn't know what was causing it. And we ran the whole gamut. It was a year of, I think at one time I was at 22 different attending physicians. And when you can't figure something out, you always seem to become the focal point of everybody's for a while. And I ended up getting that message that my liver started failing, my kidneys were failing, and they didn't know how to stop it. And so they offered me pain management, and I just, you know, this time I couldn't get in and out of a chair. I resigned my position because I could no longer get in and out of my car or up and down from my desk. Obviously couldn't travel. And I just went into it 100%. You know, I was stuck in a chair all day long, and hyperbaric chamber therapy was recommended, but that is pretty costly. And so I tend to be a person who doesn't trust people all that easy. And so I need to know for myself what things are. And so I dove into the research, and during my exploration of hyperbaric therapy, I came across an article regarding PEMF and blood. And so I read into that, and I started doing the math, and I found out that on the PEMF mat, supplementing with oxygen, I could saturate better than I could with a home hyperbaric chamber. And so I took this to my doctors, and I had several of them look at it just to make sure I was doing my math correctly. And they were all for it, and all wanted to write me a prescription for oxygen. And So I ordered a mat, and I got oxygen, and shortly thereafter, I weaned myself off pretty much all my pills. It did, it took some time. It was about 5 hours a day of that use, but it did get rid of my inflammation to where I could raise my arms above my head and could stand up. And it was really an inflammation. I used that pretty much to remove the inflammation. That was the tool that I did. And then that, I just continued to get better and better. And like Greg said, I mean, it's about putting everything back kind of into harmony, I think, and getting off the drugs and all the medication and the pain killers and all that kind of stuff. Of course, that helps turn things around as well. But that led me into Rife, and so I started studying that, and the combination of the two have been, I'm not going to run any marathons, but I now am completely, all my blood work comes out great. My inflammation is normal. I use this stuff every day, and I'm back to pretty much normal. So it's been, the word's gotten out, and that's where I started patient to patient, because I do have a little bit different angle. I'm not coming from I'm not treating anybody or anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience. And people have questions. They don't know about the technology. Some people have never heard of it. And I just help point people in the right direction, and share from, because I've used it, I know what it does. And people can talk all day, and they can take training, and they can do that. I do have a practical experience that doesn't seem to be shared that often out there. So my company now, see people worldwide who call me, and I don't know how the word gets out because I don't market. It's just word of mouth, and it's been good. And I met Terry. For years, I've been sending people to IMRS. I have five mats. I got a couple of Designo 2000 pluses. I got I think a couple Omnium ones, and an IMRS 2000. And so I've been using them for a while. I have them in my bed, in my chair. I like Greg said, I use them all over the place. That's why I love the Omnium one.
So Jason, so glad to have you, because we're going to leave a little time for people to ask questions as well, Q&A. So thank you so much for sharing, Jason. Okay, so glad to have you. I know.
And I also just wanted to say, his story was spot on in how he got maximum benefit from the PMF. Like he said, he was using it for 5 hours a day.
Yes.
And if you read any of the research, if you are looking at any PMF where they are dealing with diseases and diagnoses, they prescribe 4, 5, sometimes 8 hours a day. And that's where these local applicators are so efficient in helping you maximize the time-weighted average of magnetic field exposure, because the more you use it, the better the results you will see. I'm not going to use the medical terms, but let's just say the worst shape your body is in as a conductor will take more time to get it to the point where you are utilizing the energy efficiently. So you have to put the time in order to get the results. And that's a perfect story, a testimony of how you just dove in and, as they always say, took the bull by the horns and maximized the usage.
That's what Greg, you're training us about the bone healing, bone fracture. People after surgery, they have to use a long time.
Hip replacements, knee replacements,
right.
Reversing osteoporosis. When you look at any of the type of research, it's experimental, they all develop the applicators to be worn. The next phase, you're going to see a lot of implantable PMF, because how do you get people to use it for hours a day? You implant it into their body. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather just sit on my mat while I'm on the computer.
Okay, that's good. But here's the question, Greg. Now, Wolfgang is the Wolfie law. It's in the beginning, you use a small in the beginning, 8 minutes in the morning, or, you know,
Yes.
that's Wolfie law. But for people, they just get started. They still need to have the body get used to first before they jump it up.
No, I think excellent. That's a good point. If you are a novice, Wolfie's Law is the perfect way to acclimate the body to magnetic field exposure. When you're Jason and you're looking to reverse a disease state or diagnosis, you are going to have to put the time in order to get the PMF efficient. And I think I've used this example before. It's like renovating a house. You first have to haul out all the trash. You first have to remove all the drywall, all the old electrical, all the plumbing, and then you need to bring in all the new stuff, and then you need to build it. With bone, you can think of it as osteoblast and osteoclast. Trucks go in, trucks go out. You're formulating bone. It takes about 9 months. So you are not going to be able to do that in 2 weeks. You need to put the time in.
Okay.
And, you know, I just want to add to that. I've had so many women be able to reverse. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I lost my picture somehow. But I've had so many women be able to back down and reverse osteoporosis without having to take those drugs. They've actually had to buy the mat and get on it like every single day. But that's an amazing thing that, you know, you get the numbers, and that's an incredible thing to not have to go through, not be so terrified of falling, breaking hips, breaking bones, especially for women with the hormonal things, to be able to count on.
No, that's exactly it. I just talked to a lady in Florida, and she began using it, and she halted the progression. And she basically asked me, what do I need to do to not only halt it, reverse it? And like I told her, you need to use it more. And that's what you need to do. You know, you're regenerating bone. You first have to take the old bone out and the new bone in. You are renovating a house. And as we all know, getting permits and everything else takes months and months and months. And that is no different than your body. You know, your body has to get permits from your brain and from here in order to build it all together, in order to formulate that. And it needs to put the time in.
Very good. Yeah, moving forward. Oh, I just got a text from Dr. Patricia Shepard. She has emergencies. She apologized. Anyway, one more person I want to introduce really quickly. Mike Garrett. Mike Garrett is energy healing. He's right around in my area. He's been selling. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing good. Mike, go ahead, share with us your experience quickly. We only have maybe a minute, less than that. Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike Garrett. I've been using PMF for over 10 years. I started off with a MAS mat, and then I went to the Omni mat about 5 or 6 years ago, and I've been working with the IMRS Prime recently, but I've worked on over 2,000 people with the mat inside chiropractors' offices and different things, acupuncturist offices. I work with scalar energy and all that as well. PMF is a very good addition to it as far as creating energy. And before I work on someone, I like to charge my body up with the PMF, and it gets like Greg's, his presentation was excellent. It explains everything to how the cells work and one of the most important things I think when you start PMF is to get the toxins out of the cell. And that's I think that's why Yang likes to start people slow, because if you detox too quickly, they feel like they get sick and they get side effects and things like that. So it's better to start off slow and then go heavy. And I've noticed that that's a really good way of doing it. The meridian points and the acupuncture points, kinesiology points, they're all important to get the body woken up and moving. And energy is all about the flow of energy. And That's where the trash doesn't get taken out. That's where inflammation starts. That's a lot of times where cancer starts as well. So you have to get the trash out. PMF is a clean way, a natural way of doing it.
Excellent. So great. We have little time for Q&A, right?
Yes, we do.
So, yeah, go ahead and ask, state your name, where you're calling from, and ask your questions. Thank you.
Hi, Terry and Greg. My name's Penny Jones, and I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. And we just bought the mat. We got the mat around March, I think, Terry, and we just love it. But what I wanted to ask was, using the spots or using the pad, what do we start out at as a level? I mean, what would we actually be using it, you know, as a setting?
What I always advise people when you first get it is to print out a copy of Wolfie's Law and to follow that for at least the first 2 weeks. Because what Mike had said was very important. You do not want to get all that trash out too fast. You want to do a slow, steady process and not overburden the body. And that is why Wolfie's Law is a great one-page PDF that you can print, and it gives you all the different locations on the body and what are great settings for a first-time user for, you know, the first 2 weeks. There's also, and that's always, I would say, the best way to follow.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good, because we love the mat and we use the mat and we know the settings on the mat, but I just didn't know with using the spot and the pad if they were different.
They are different, and it's all on that Wolfie's Law. And if you work with Terry, she can get you an email copy of that, and it's just like a one-page print. And it's a good way, suggestions on what intensity levels and settings to use on what areas of the body for your first time utilizing it.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you so much. Everything was so simple. I really enjoyed the talk.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep. Next question, anybody? Don't be shy and just unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Well, Terry,
yeah,
Francis here.
Hey, Francis, yeah.
Hi, Terry. I've had it since 2017. I have never understood how to use it. Didn't have any direction. Okay, so now I'm starting. I understand first 2 weeks to get started with the Wolfie's Law. I've got that copy. So after the first 2 weeks, how do I increase? What's a good way to increase the usage?
Yeah, Frances just reached out to me. She bought it in 2017, one of my downlines, and I'm glad that she reached out to me. Frances, I'll be able to help you, or anybody want to answer, it's right there.
Yes, and that is the perfect way to do it. After your first 2 weeks, you want to make sure you are hydrating the body and you've developed a consistent routine. So that is where your ultimate goals are, is hydration, breathing, and to develop a consistent routine of where you've integrated the PMF into your lifestyle. Then after the 2 weeks, it's always great to, what is your objective and what is your goal with PMF usage? And that's really how you would determine what are the best protocols in order for you to utilize to accomplish those goals. So once you achieve the first goal within the first couple weeks of establishing consistency, hydration, breathing, then you would want to establish your personal goals and objectives with using PMF, meaning how are you going to define success? Like if I used PMF for another 2 weeks, what do I expect to notice, or how am I going to define success? And then that's how we would establish your second set of protocols in order to go after that goal. But the first objective is always to establish consistency and create the body into a well-productive medium.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Next question.
Hi, Greg. Bill Safely from Iowa.
Dr. Bill.
Thanks for the great presentation. It sure makes sense. In that you mentioned you increase your subtle vibrations in the body, or your increased knowledge of that. Can you give some specific examples of that?
As far as the more you're able to resonate, the subtle, meaning that if we are operating in a state of stress, we are operating in frequencies with outside the natural parameters. So we are unable to resonate, assimilate the energies that are flowing in our natural environment. When you are also able to establish more resonance within the body, your meridian antennas are able to pick up on more geomagnetic energy levels and more of the far infrared from the sun. You're able to utilize that more, because just like a tuning fork, you have you've created the one, and then the other one is the energy coming from the environment. So you need to make sure the two tuning forks are in a resonance, and that is how you can think of how, by establishing the body more effectively flow of energy current throughout, you are helping the body be able to decipher all these different energies. Especially in our modern world, where we're exposed to a lot of man-made artificial frequencies, we want to make sure our body's tuned to be able to pick up the natural frequencies. And you think of it just like an instrument, the way you would tune a piano, or you would tune a trumpet or a clarinet. You have to tune that instrument because it can get out of sync, just like a piano can get out of harmony, out of tune, by being too stressed or being in a high toxin environment will cause your body to get out of tune, and it needs to be tuned up.
Wow, very good.
Well, thank you. I think that...
Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, I think so. I guess you talk about the spiritual journey people are on, and
yes.
And I think that I'm definitely more aware of that. I do a lot of studying and reading on that end. So some things come to me, and what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. And it's pretty subtle. But you have to have your ears open to listen.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's where, like I say, your PMF journey evolves over time, and it definitely does, if you take it there, have an aspect of a more spiritual level once you really realize the Earth's magnetic field and how it's all connected, and the magnetic energy flowing from the universe, and how all of that is communicating with our bodies. And you can be disconnected from that, or you can be merged and inter-participant with that. And it's all based on developing the antennas, the meridians inside your body. Like people always talk about burnout, and there's so many healthcare professionals in a state of burnout, and they want them to go in and do a meditation room. And to me, I'm like, going from an emergency room into a meditation room, it's so difficult to tune that body from, high energy to high. It's very hard to be able to transition like that. And that's where PMF comes into perfect, because coming out of a high energetic environment, you need those subtle magnetic pulses in order to help your body facilitate that process of relaxation, in order to reduce the effects of burnout.
Very good. It looks
Very
like
good.
we
Thank you. That gives me a lot more thoughts about it. Thank you.
Sorry. Jim, you have a question? It looks
yes,
like
I have a question. Jim McGrath from Connecticut. In the Fast Start program, there are the solfeggio frequencies, and I really don't understand that. I understand energization. I understand winding down with sleep at the end of the day. What percentage of your regimen is solfeggio frequencies, and how important are they, and what do they do different then the activation, energization, regenerization, sleepiness. What is the unique niche of solfeggio frequencies?
The solfeggio frequencies are just a base of a set of different frequencies that are in different ancient texts, spiritual texts, and it is just something that people have a desire to be able to utilize those specific frequencies while they are utilizing the Iron Mars Prime. So, and there's all different types of beliefs on the solfeggio scale, and you can Google that because there's no solid explanation for that. It all depends on what interpreter you're looking at, but you can get a basic understanding. The fast starts are basically all about creating experiences using magnetic fields. We know from research into the frequencies of the body, when the body is at rest, certain dominant frequencies are in play. And when the body is getting activated, other dominant frequencies are in play. You can also engage those by deciphering the intensity of the field strength. In the middle of the day or the early afternoon, we know there's a higher intensity versus in the evening. So if you're using a fast start, say for sleep, you can adjust those magnetic field parameters by adjusting the frequencies that are utilized more within the theta and delta, lowering the intensities, and creating more of an energetic experience that you would find by sleep, relaxation, activation, performance. It's really just experiences and then defining the magnetic field parameters in order to help facilitate that experience.
So what percentage of your treatments are solfeggio versus the other fast?
I don't do like percentages like that in a sense. Versus fast starts. What I can tell you is the hybrid with the far infrared, I only use that during the daylight. Why? Well, the far infrared theoretically is utilizing the microns from the waveforms that the sun would send. That is what it's looking to replicate. So using a hybrid in the evening would send alternating signals to your body. So the hybrid I would use during the day. In the evening, I would use, if I would use a fast start, I would use sleep or relaxation, or I would generally utilize a, if I'm using the hexagon sense, then I would use just the PEMF. So the solfeggio scales, I wouldn't say I use, you know, in a daily regimen. The solfeggio scales is something I use more of, say I'm looking to do a 2 p.m., 20-minute relaxation, and to mix it up a little bit, instead of using the regeneration or the balance, I would then maybe use the solfeggio scale. But there's no specific protocol or percentage where I, you know, integrate that into my daily activities with the PMF.
Okay, I have the hybrid mat, and every time I set it up for hybrid, I have to turn on the hexagon sense. Why doesn't it realize that I always like to use the hexagon sense and not keep asking me to turn it on every time?
That would be a question for the manufacturer, and you can send that to the office. But I probably, when they did the programming, there was the activate and non-activate, and there's always safety parameters that have been established. Maybe a regulation here or there, because it is marketed globally, requires all accessories to start in the off position. So there's always a reason that, you know, things are designed or implemented that way. But that's just one of the, you know, when you're programming it, you would have to hit the activate. So it will turn it on for that session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Could I add in for the solfeggio frequencies?
Sure.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
So what they are, solfeggio frequency is basically A, E, I, O, U. And if you repeat that over and over, it starts to harmonize your body what they've done with IMRS is they've actually created the electromagnetic frequency of AEIOU. So it depends on where your mood is. If you want to get into more of a harmonized mood, you would run that before another program, and then your body gets in harmony because it naturally pulls it into balance, and then you can do the activation, and then the body will react to the other magnetic fields a little easier. That's
excellent. Perfect. No, that's an excellent response.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
We learned so many people. Anyway, it's gone for an hour. Great. The next training will be August the 7th, right? Great.
That's right. And send in any topics to Terry, anyone who would like to have an opportunity to speak or share how they use PMF, send it all to Terry so we can organize it and really have facilitate a good discussion. Yep. I see even Mary in UK. She's on. Anyway, we have people in Hong Kong even waiting for the recording. So I see Donna Woodworth there. Donna is biofeedback specialist, and her biofeedback works. And I'm one of her patients. And maybe we can have her share a little bit next time. Anyway, thank you so much, Gray. Thank you for sharing. I'm looking forward for the recording. I can send it out to everybody. Okay? Thank you, Gray. Thank you. Have a wonderful
Jason
afternoon.
and everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.